Hello everyone, welcome to Hawkeye Traders. My name is Randy Lindsay, host of today's live presentation. I'm here to educate and inform you on the proper use of Hawkeye on the live edge of the market. If you have any questions or comments during today's presentation, over on the right-hand side of your GoToWebinar control panel is a questions pane. Please enter your question or comment there, and I'll be more than glad to get to them in the order that they're received. If you're here for the very first time, let me know that, and I'll be more than glad to answer any of your startup questions or any of your basic questions to help you know, apply and use Hawkeye on the live edge of the market. If you have any questions about the specific indicator suite that we use or anything about the background, how we came to be, just let me know. I'll be more than glad to answer that. Also, if you want me to focus on any specific market, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to be focused on looking at trade setups. I'm going to be looking at how we use the software to get us in front of these trades and how to manage those trades. Before we go, though, I got to make sure you understand and know that we are here for educational purposes only. That Hawkeye Traders is not an investment advisory service. We are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers, so we cannot suggest any securities to trade, and we cannot give you any specific buy or sell advice. We may hold positions that we talk about in stocks, forex, or other markets that we discuss, but I will make sure that you know that ahead of time. Make sure that you understand that there are a great amount of risk in trading in future stocks, forex, and options markets. There's also a lot of reward potential, but you must be aware of the risks and be willing to accept them in order to invest in any of these markets. Make sure that you never trade with money you can't afford to lose, and never, ever trade in a live trading account with real money unless you have first proven you can consistently and profitably trade in a simulated trading account. All right, disclaimer is out of the way. Let me look at my questions here real quick before we get into today's presentation. Good day, William. Good to see you back again. It's been a while, but I'm glad to see you around. Hey, Mike, good to see you. Mike wants me to look at the NASDAQ and the bond. Absolutely. Joe, good to see you. Good to see you around. Awesome. All right, let's go. Let's do that then. Let's just pull up the NASDAQ really quickly. Since that was the very first question of the day. Looking at NASDAQ short term, you can see that we are over in the morning time since there's something came out around 8:15 or so. I think it was some miscommunication with Draghi. European press misinterpreted some of the things that he had said, and so there's some a little bit of jumpiness in the market right now as a result of some things that the Draghi has suggested that were really kind of misinterpreted, but we'll see that as it pans out. You look at all of the euro currency pairs and stuff, you'll see the same thing, a really big spike down in most of the euro pairs, but the corresponding spike in a lot of the other markets. But you can see that we are coming right back up into pre-market levels. We are consolidating, testing the upper range. We can also see that on the longer term from yesterday's weakness that we have found support. We're trading up into overhead resistance, and we need to see a break of that overhead resistance if we're going to be continuing a corrective move. But right now, we're seeing that is going to be stopped, or possibly we're looking for a potential retracement back to the previous lows of this morning. Prior to that, you can see a large amount of selling volume coming into this sell-off, and then it continued to increase over the night and then even into the following day. So you can see clearly how volume is an increasingly important tool to help you in setting up in your trades. Right now, I'm seeing that there's a lot of weakness in this current open right now, that we found a previous resistance here. You can see that resistance zone is clearly in place. There's an aqua zone, which means it's new, this is the first time price is testing this region. So that means it's a high probability reversal for price to not only stall, but to potentially a high probability for it to reverse back down, targeting the lower price range. And let me show you what that price is. 56.35 is the target on the downside with a current retracement from the current levels down to that. Okay, so let me pull up a little longer term time frame. We'll look at a longer term view of the NASDAQ. It's a daily, weekly, monthly, and I'll pull up NASDAQ market. So it'll be a NQ0917. I am looking at this on the NinjaTrader platform. Of course, it is NinjaTrader 7. We do have full support for NinjaTrader 8 now. I just have not transitioned my charts over because there's still a lot of people using NinjaTrader 7, so I'm still supporting that and pulling that in. And I also have all of my brokerage accounts set up using NinjaTrader 7, not NinjaTrader 8. So longer term, you can see the bullish run on the monthly is still very strong and intact. Price has continued from the base, the panhandle, as you can see here. It broke out and is now continuing to pull away, but on the daily, you can see that there's a lot of weakness in this point where a topping pattern, big pull off, consolidation, we're starting to retest that. And if we were to turn our zones back on, you can see that price did come up into an active zone. We're coming right back down into known support. So we're watching for that to see if that's going to continue, but we still are in a strong up move. If you're looking at the 6 ways the market moves, we are in a strong trend run on the monthly. The weekly, looks like we're starting to enter into a trend pause. Looks like today price closes below our trend dot. Our trend dot is still rising, but this could be a pause in this trend. And if that's the case, we would look at within 1 to 2 days for this trend to resume. If not, it's a clear sign of a congestion entrance. On the daily, you can see this is clearly a reversal. You can see the trend dots have gone red, so we are in a downtrend. But that downtrend is currently in a congested mode. So we're watching this congestion and we're waiting for that to give us a clear break either above or below the pivots. And that's what we're looking for breakout. So longer term, we are congested on the daily. So if you're looking at that more on the intraday, then it is in a downtrend. So most of your trades are going to be focused toward the downward motion. You probably see much more fluid runs down than you would up. That's what the charts are showing me right now. Can I show a potential setup in any market? Absolutely. See, this is a potential setup short right now if you're looking at a NASDAQ, but Hawkeye uses triple time frames, and so it keeps you safe. So when you see a potential entry, you're looking for longer time frames to confirm that the market has gone into that direction. So right now we're not getting a confirmation because we can see our second time frame momentum is still strong to the long side, even though we've got selling volume on the shorter time and on the longer time frames. We still do not have a confirmed entry. So Hawkeye helps to keep us safe by making sure that we are only in confirmed trends that are aligned with the longer time frame. Shorter term pullbacks, we're not going to get suckered in. Everything is looking really good for this to be a potential downturn, but we need to see that this price has enough strength in it to pull the rest of the market down. So we will patiently wait for the entry while it's setting up, because there's usually a lot of gyrations and a lot of choppy price action that occurs during price reversals, and so we want to make sure we're not caught in the chop, but we enter the trade when the trade confirms itself. So right now we do have probably a 75% confirmed entry short. We just need to wait for the second time frame to come in. And it looks like it just did right here. You can see that the second time frame heat map has gone red, which is a confirmation of a trend, and the second time frame trend has gone red. Okay, that's good. But now the first time frame volume has gone white. So we still can't enter. We have to wait for all three to align. That's the simplicity of the system. You're waiting for the system to identify an alignment and identify an entry point. And I'm using the roadkill here as an indicator that we use to help us to see the longer time frame alignment with the shorter time frame. So what I'm looking at on this chart here is the Hawkeye trend. This is the Hawkeye trend, but it's the Hawkeye trend on my second time frame. My second time frame is a harmonic of the base, which is, this is 3 minutes. So the harmonic of that would be my 6-minute chart, 2 times that. So if I were to pull this and see my settings, you can see I have it set to a 6-minute time frame. The trend speed is conservative to match. So I'm looking at a 6-minute trend, which you can see right here is gone red. And this is my 6-minute volume bar, which you can see right here. Volume bars, red, red, green, green, green. You can see that right there. And they're painted multiple times because you can see that there are twice as many volume bars on this chart as there are on this chart. The second roadkill that I have listed right here is the roadkill for my third time frame, which is my 12-minute chart. So if I were to format that, you can see that I have a 12-minute chart set up using my conservative trend setting. So everything is aligned, everything is set up and is harmonic within the charts. So when I'm looking at anything, I can just simply look at this one chart and I have agreement between all the time frames at any one specific time. That's on a shorter time frame futures market. Now you can say, does it work on the forex market? Well, absolutely. Let me pull up some forex markets here, see if I can show you that as well. We're looking for the exact same type of trade entries and formats. When you're looking at alignment of the trend, you can see that the initial alignment of the trend came right here, where you have a green trend, you have green volume and a bright green heat map. I got a dot and a dot here on my roadkill showing me that I do have volume aggressive entries at that same time frame, but my heat map is still bright red. These are blue indicating long. The magenta indicates a short. So these are trigger moves for shorts that would have gotten us into a nice push down. These are trying to get us into a push up, but you can see that the momentum of this trend was not quite ready. Even though volume was showing us that the trend was starting to push up and give it, and you can see the 12-minute volume also was pushing that, but the actual trade entry did not occur until right here. This is the place where you can see confirmed entry where there's weakness in the momentum, strength in the volume across all time frames, and this was your confirmed entry point right here. So while this would have gotten you in the trade, it would have gotten you in with risk because your second time frame momentum had not confirmed. But right here, it confirms that all of the time frames aligned, and this gives you a confirmed entry point. And that confirmed entry gives you a specified risk and reward potentials where you have gotten at least a 1 level ATR risk profit target. If you continue to see that, then you can see the future. Oh, went away again. Let me pull that back on. There it is. Here's a 2-to-1 risk reward profit target level. On the yellow line there, it will be the 3-to-1. It keeps going up. I haven't locked it in. I'll lock it in now. Okay, so you can see as you apply the tools where your risk and profit targets are. Now, as the Hawkeye stop rises above this risk parameter, then you also raise your stop to those levels to make sure that you're minimizing the risk in the trade as it's developing and as it's continuing to hit higher and higher profit targets. Let me switch back over here. Okay. Steve wants to know if the zones are available for MT4. They absolutely are. I've got my MT4 platform showing you that right now. Let me pull up a zones template that I already have pulled up. There you go. So there are the zones on the MT4 platform, the same zones that we had shown before. Absolutely. I think I have it turned so that I'm only looking at the front two zones. Let me open up the intraday. Here is the swing trade. So here I'm using it on an hourly, 4-hour, and daily chart. And you can also place those same zones on the scalping charts right here. Here I've got a 1-minute, 5-minute, and a 15-minute. And these are the zones time indicator. That gives you regions where price action has the highest probability of changing. RJ, you just bought the Fat Man for NinjaTrader. Do I have to buy it again for NinjaTrader 8? If it was within the last 30 days, no, you do not. But if it was greater than that, then there's a small update fee. I think it's like $29 or something like that if you wanted to upgrade to NinjaTrader 8. We're only doing that because I had to pay the programmer so much money in order to upgrade that, so I'm trying to get that recovered. So if you need to upgrade to NinjaTrader 8, then just let me know. There's I think at 29. If you just bought the Fat Man only, then yeah, I think it's $29 to upgrade that. If you did within the last 30 days, then you get it absolutely free. So contact support, or you should be able to just re-download it from the members area. You should have a link within the members area that gives you the ability to download the NinjaTrader 8 version. So go in and check that. You should be able to see it right there. Gibson asked, so when I'm looking at a chart, do I need to look at 3 different charts? I think I did answer that question already. We look at 3 different charts because we want to make sure that the time frame of the chart we're trading on is aligned with the direction of the longer term trend. That gives you a higher probability entry and minimizes the risk in the trade. So that's the reason behind it. You don't absolutely have to because we have tools that allow you to only trade off of a single chart, because your single chart then, using the tools, help you to see the alignment and the initial entry with the lowest risk, highest probability for continuation of a trade. We're not picking the tops and we're not picking the bottoms, but we are trying to make sure that we are in the meat of the trend, and we're showing you really high probability ways to enter that. So no, you don't have to trade off 3 charts, but it's to your advantage to have 3 charts and to be trading off and to understand those, because we teach this the 6 ways the market moves. It's a concept that helps you to look at a chart and understand exactly where that chart is and how it's traded. You can see in the members area of the Hawkeye Traders website, if you were to go over there, let me pull up the membership site. Once you become a member and purchase any of our indicators, then you get access to the members area. You also get access to the resources menu. And under the resources area, you can see that you have access to our 3-step entry-exit method. You have access to the 6 ways the market moves. you have access to all the other information that's here, as well as all of our on-demand video training. You get access to specialized training not only on each individual indicator, but on trading, trade setups. We get monthly workshops where these are members-only training that show you specifically how to trade the Hawkeye tools, not only on the platform-specific tools, but on specific topics. Specifically, here is a way to re-enter an existing trend. Or if you want to be identifying a trade entry or manage a trade using 3 different trade exit methods, here's a focused teaching on that. So we go through a lot of detailed training on those, and you can see there's lots of training. Each one of these are an hour and a half long. This one's focused on futures and stocks. This one's focused on forex. And so you get access to all of the training specific to your purchase. So the 6 ways a market moves shows us that we are in a trend run down on the hourly chart. Okay, we are in congestion entrance on the 30-minute chart, and we are in a trend run long. Okay, on the 15-minute chart. So we are a little bit out of sync right here on all 3 of our charts, and so this one we have to make sure that we are aligned with the direction of the trend before we take the trade. So we're not looking at trying to take a long right now on the Aussie CAD, simply because of that. 2, that both of the longer term trends are in a downtrend. Even though this shows an uptrend, we need to see confirmation that that uptrend is building before we even are considering a long trend. So we're only looking for short trends. So this corrective move can very easily come back in line and give us a confirmed re-entry short. So that's why it's important to look at 3 different charts. Not a requirement, but it's helpful, and as Hawkeye traders, it gives us a very good insight into the future direction and the probability of our successful trade. Steve, is the time frame multiplier the same for the roadkills? The time frame multiplier, the only important thing about that is that it be integer multiples of the fastest time frame. For example, 15 times 2 is 30. 15 times 4 is 60. Okay, so we just need to make sure that they're harmonic, that they're integer multiples of all of the time frames that we're looking at. So harmonic time frames are important. So times 2 would be fine. Even if you wanted to go at times 3 and a times 2, that works as well. There's no hard rule on the harmonics that you use. Some traders like to trade like with a 1 minute and a 5 minute. That's a 5 multiple. But then from the 5, they'll go to a 15, which is a 3 multiple. Or 1 to 5, 1 to 15. So you can see that those multiples are still harmonic because they're all integer multiples of the base, but they're not times 2. So use that to help you to use that setup. Okay, Steve? The roadkill indicator is available for MT4. Absolutely, you can see it right here. This is the roadkill indicator for MetaTrader 4, as well as the Fat Man, which is the strength meter for the forex markets. You can see the Fat Man is showing that the 30-minute time frame, the Canadian dollar is strongest relative to all the other currencies. You can also see on the hourly that the Canadian dollar also is the strongest. Whereas just yesterday afternoon, you could see that the Swiss franc and the euro were the strongest, as opposed to the Australian and the New Zealand, which were the weakest. And so based upon that, it helps you to see ahead of time the currencies that you need to be looking at in order to take trades. It's very, very helpful. Steve didn't show up after the install on my list. What is the time frame? Yeah, if the roadkill The Hawkeye Roadkill is part of the total package. So if the Hawkeye Roadkill itself didn't show up on the install, then you need to make sure and reinstall it because it is definitely part of your total package. Look over on your navigator list just to make sure that it's there. Can I show where the NASDAQ showed a valid entry? All right, let me go back to the NASDAQ then. Pull up the NASDAQ short. Notice all the other markets are against that. You can see that the NASDAQ is extremely weak relative to the other markets, and the other markets are very uncorrelated. Okay, so when the markets are uncorrelated, there's a high probability that the markets are going to be range bound and choppy. Okay, we're starting to see the KISS also going up and flatten out. We're seeing it starting to round. So it's coming up with strength. It's showing that there's a large bullishness in this market right now. But that bullishness is starting to flatten out. And you can also see that the weakness of NASDAQ relative to the other markets is starting to flatten as well. So you can see that there's an overall trend down. But because the markets are all decorrelated to this degree, I'm not looking for this market to do anything specific. Anyway, it looks like it's going to be more choppy, if anything. But we need to see that develop. So on the NASDAQ 3-minute, I have a 3-minute, 6 and 12-minute chart here. You can see that the initial entry point right here, okay, was not confirmed because of volume, but right here you can see the roadkill gave a confirmed double dot entry, showing that this right here confirmed that all 3 time frames, the fast, medium, and slow time frames, were all in agreement. Volume was good. Volume was in the direction of the trade. So this gave a confirmed point of entry right here. So this was a confirmed edge of the market entry where the roadkill showed that the first time frame, second time frame, and third time frame all agreed. Now they were all in agreement right back here with the exception of the fast volume. Notice the fast volume was showing that there was really no demand for a downside move. But once that did come in, you can see price was very responsive, and that gave us an indication of the direction of the trade. Although, while we can see the opening of the market showed us a clear intent of market direction, and you can see that the market has moved that way, we need to have a confirmed entry that's based on probabilities and risk, and that came right here. Okay, so right there is your entry. The Hawkeye stops show that the risk parameter would be based upon the previous high in this value right here. However, if that is too much risk for you to take in a trade, then the Hawkeye levels is a tool that helps you to predefine a risk parameter, which is based upon average true range, and then gives you set profit targets based on that same risk level. So you have a 1-to-1, a 2-to-1, or a 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio based upon the entry and the amount of risk that you're willing to take in that trade. Do you recall what I was saying earlier about the aqua zone on the zones? When you see price coming back into an aqua zone, that means that's the aqua colored zone. It's the first time price is testing that zone. When price comes back up into that zone, it's highest probability reversal point. So when you see that testing occurring at that point, then it's the highest probability that price is not going to stay there long. Either it does, or it's going to tarry, it'll get congested, and it'll stall because this is a support region, a resistance area, which has been newly established and is being tested. So based upon that, the probability that price reverses from that region is high. So when you get volume coming into that in a market open right up into an aqua zone, chances are good that price is going to push back down, and that's exactly what it did. It pushed back down about 20 points, 20, 25. No, it was almost 40 points off of that right there. 40 NASDAQ points off of that zone right there. Went from a 5,700 almost all the way down to a 5,760. So that's at least 30 point pullback. It's about $5 per point on a NASDAQ, and that's what you'd be looking at. The roadkill represents volume on the higher time frames. The roadkill shows you the trend and the volume and the momentum of the higher time frame. So if you were to pull up the actual roadkill indicator, then you can see that the roadkill indicator shows you the trend and volume for the time frame, the slow bar that you specify. And you can give it any time frame that you like. And then it generates signals based upon alignment of the slow time frame with your fast time frame. And that fast time frame is the chart that it's loaded on. So this roadkill is showing me the 6-minute trend. You can look down here on my 6-minute chart and you can see my 6-minute trend right there. I am in a downtrend. You can see that's that 6-minute trend. You can also see my 6-minute volume right here, which is being replicated right here on my roadkill. So this is my 6 minutes. So when the 6-minute volume and trend, and this is my heat map. So if you look at the heat map, the slow bar interval is ×2. So I'm looking at 3 × 2 is 6. I'm looking at my 6-minute heat map. It's the same as this heat map on my 6-minute chart, but I have it on my 3-minute. So yes. And you can have the exact same parameters on MT4. Let me show you that. So if I pull up MT4, this is the MT4 platform. Here is the roadkill. If I were to look at the roadkill on this time frame, you can see I have the same settings for my fast and slow trend speed. The slow period I have as a I ×2, which is the interval M15, or I could simply put in M30 if I wanted to. M15 ×2 is the same as M30, but if I change the time frame, I have to change this. But right now it's a short code, so if I were to change this from a 15-minute to a 5-minute, then now I'm looking at a 5-minute roadkill versus that. And here I'm looking at a 1-minute, and it looks like I'm waiting for the data. Data's got to upload itself. There you go. Give it a little bit of time. There you go. So now I'm looking at a 1 × 2, or this is a 2-minute roadkill. And this roadkill is ×4, so I'm looking at 4 minutes. So I'm looking at a 1, 2, and 4-minute chart. Now, you're asking the question, I know MetaTrader 4 doesn't have standard time frames 2-minute and 4-minute, but with the roadkill, you can calculate any off standard time frame and make it on live charts. So it does not require, it just recalculates those and redisplays them as if they were a 2-minute and a 4-minute time frame. And you can change those to be any multiplier that you like. So all the same parameters on any of the platforms, NinjaTrader, TradeStation, MetaTrader 4, the roadkill is fully functional. And here's the heat map as well. So anything you had set up on the other charts, you can set up on your MT4 platform. The heat map and roadkill contained in one indicator. Yes, if you purchase the roadkill indicator or any of the packages that contains the roadkill, then yes, the roadkill will come with the roadkill, the heat map as part of that package. But you have to already own the trend module and the volume module in order for the roadkill to work, because the roadkill uses the volume and trend algorithms, and without those present, you won't be able to use it. So you need to first have purchased the trend and the volume modules to add on your roadkill. It's an important point to make because you won't work otherwise. They all work together because this just simply replicates this volume from the longer time frames on your shorter time frame charts. And those of you who are wondering if, because next week is going to be the 4th of July. Typically, we have specials that go on holidays. We're going to be marking down the software. But because you guys are in my webinar today, I'm going to mark it down even more. We're going to be offering specials next week on the 4th of July, but today and today only, I'm going to be adding an additional 5% discount to the 20% discount we're going to be offering next week. But you'll be getting it only today. So 25% off of everything in our store today if you were to purchase anything based upon that. So this is just an early thank you for being in my webinar special. So if you were to go to our store right now, let me see if I can do that. Go to the store. If I'm looking at purchasing the Hawkeye Trend and Stops package, because I don't have enough money to pay for the whole package and I want to buy it for my MetaTrader 4 platform, then you can see that I get that purchase plus I get 25% off. And that's an early holiday and it's only going to be for today. Tomorrow, it's going to be gone. But if you do it today, then you will get a full 25% off of anything that's over $100. So you'll get that applied and you'll get the discounted price rather than the full price. So if you were to go back to the store again, let me see here. Yeah, there was. There it is. And instead of that, if I wanted to buy the professional package, then you can see if I wanted to buy that same NinjaTrader professional package, you can see that instead of $19.97, you're going to get $500 off because it's 25% off. It's 25% off of everything in the store today and today only. Simply because you're part of my webinar. Thank you for being here. And if you're getting started, then we'll be applying that. So we only apply those around holidays. 4th of July is a week from tomorrow. Or is it a week from today? I forget which one that is. It's a week from yesterday, actually. A week from yesterday. So exactly 1 week, we're going to be applying a 20% off sale. But because you're part of my webinar today, you'll get 25% off of whatever that you want to apply. So if you haven't gotten your zones yet, today is a great time to get those zones because you're going to be getting 25% off of those zones for NinjaTrader, TradeStation, or MetaTrader 4. Okay, you can apply that to the cart and you'll get a full 25% discount on the purchase today and today only. One other thing, here is a link for if you just want to get started to find out a little bit more about Hawkeye, our volume starter package is also about 60 or 70% off right now. So if you were to type in this link, and I'm typing it into the chat box there, there it is, HawkeyeTraders.com/WED, HawkeyeTraders.com/WED. That'll take you to this page right here. And this is a page that shows you the specifics of using the volume starter package. It's a perfect package to help you to understand and to use volume on the live edge of the market. It's a complete package that shows you Hawkeye volume, volume paint bar, volume radar. We include the pivots and the wide bar as tools to help you to apply to your trading and to find out what trading with volume and price really look like. You can integrate it with any of your other tools, either the um, um, MACDs or your stochastics. You can look at moving averages or trend lines and so forth, just to show you what the advantage of trading with volume really is. Okay, so when you see buying volume coming in or selling volume coming in ahead of time, that gives you a very clear indication that price is going to be going in your direction and will help you to take advantage of that trade. Volume really is the key, and it helps you to see and identify price direction way ahead of time. So when you see price identifying these trend directions, when you see no demand coming in, very low volume bars, price is already completed that's turned. So when you can see pushes that fail, and then you can see selling volume coming in, then it's very clear to see the directional intent of price. So the volume starter package is available on Wednesdays and Wednesdays only for the very low price of $97. If you go back to the store, you can see that that same starter package is on sale for $360. And of course, you can buy it today for 25% off, but you can see 25% off of $360. So if I were to go and buy that for MT4, you can see it's $270. Well, that's a good deal, but you can get it for $97. That's the best deal of all. So get started today using Hawkeye integrating volume, and you can always upgrade to the other tools. You can purchase this for $97, then you can go over to the store and then upgrade to the e-signal. I mean to the standard package, which includes the trend and the levels programs, in addition to the bonus tools, the vertical lines, the countdowns, and time doing bars. And it gives you full access to the members area as well. If you want to add the individual roadkills or the tool set or any of the gear tools to your suite, you can do that individually below, or you could just upgrade to the professional package. It would be a much better value, because if you were to add these all on individually, you're going to be over $3,000-$4,000 if you just bought them individually. But that's why the value of these as packages together is better. And if you were to do it today, well, we have 25% off. Boom. And it's today only again. So I want you to be able to see that. Nope, they are not only for NinjaTrader 7. You can get those for all for NinjaTrader 8 as well. You get both NinjaTrader 7 or NinjaTrader 8, whichever one that you want. So you're using the volume module and want to use the roadkill. You should have the trend. That's right. You should upgrade to the standard package if you wanted to add the roadkill to that. Or today, for this special, you could probably upgrade to the MT4 total package, which would give you the roadkill and the Fat Man in addition to the trend. So if you add that up, if you were to take a roadkill, the Fat Man, and the trend to your volume package, then that you can see that that's going to be over $1,800 just if you were to add those. But if you were to buy today the MT4 total package, which normally is $14.97, then you'll get a 25% off of that. And so for the price of just the roadkill and the Fat Man, you'd be getting the trend module for free. And you'd get the levels tools on top of that. So you'd get the whole total package for $1,100 rather than the $1,700 or $1,800 that you would have paid buying them separately. So if you are using the zones too, yeah, that's a separate. It's not part of the total package, but it is a separate tool. So you can absolutely do that. Penny has the standard package for NT. Can I change it to have it for MT4? Absolutely, Penny. If you'd like to switch over. If you've not switched over before, then make sure that you contact us at support@hawkeyetraders.com. Let me type that in for you. And we'll be more than glad to switch that over for you. If it's the first time to change, then there won't be any platform change fee. We'll do all the work in the background and change your license and everything over for you. Kath, let me see. Answer your question. Oh, let me go. Let me see. Where's your question? I must have missed it. I'm sorry. There are a lot of questions that are coming in. Apologize if I did miss it. There it is. What is the optimum time frames for the Fat Man? On the 30-minute chart, they are a massive lines like spaghetti. That's true. Please advise. So the time frames for the Fat Man vary based upon the time frame that you're trading. Okay, so if you're trading a 15-minute chart, then the optimal time frame for the Fat Man will be 3 times the time frame. So here's the rule of thumb: 60 minutes. If it's less than 60 minutes, you need to go 3 times the time frame. So 15 times 3 is a 45-minute. So if you were to look at that, I have a 45-minute Fat Man trading a 15-minute chart. Okay. If I'm trading a 5-minute Fat Man, a 5-minute chart, 5 times 3 is 15. I would be looking at a 15-minute Fat Man. A 30-minute chart, then 30 times 3, that's a 90 minutes. So I'll be looking at a 90-minute. Okay. A 60-minute chart or higher up to daily, you would use 2 times the time frame. So if I'm trading a 60-minute or a 4-hour chart, a 60-minute times 2 would be 120. A 4-hour chart times 2 would be an 8-hour chart. If you're on MT4, then if you're on MetaTrader 4, then you're limited by the standard time frames. So if you have a 15-minute time frame and you cannot get a 45-minute Fat Man, then use 2 Fat Man. Set up a 30-minute and set up an hourly. And this gives you a good approximation for what a 45-minute will look like. You can see right here on a 30 that the Canadian dollar has come up to strength but is starting to show a weak trend. But on the hourly, you can still see it's still on a trend of strength. It's just starting to roll. So a 45-minute would probably be just like this and have already started to turn and roll. Very similar to this. Okay, so if I were to go back to TradeStation, you can see that that's exactly what we have on a 45-minute. So that's the idea behind that. If it's a daily or higher, then use the same time frame Fat Man. So if I'm trading a daily chart, I want a daily Fat Man. Weekly chart, a weekly Fat Man. Here's an example of a longer term trend where I'm using a 360. And you can see I have both a 720 and a daily setup. So 360 times 2 is 720, half day. And then here's a daily chart. If I wanted to swing up to a 720, that times 2 would give me a daily chart. Kath, I'm still not sure how to use the zones. Please explain. Okay, the zones are a wonderful tool to help you to see supply and demand. So when you see a clearly defined zone of either supply or demand, then these are resistance or support values. Then when price enters these zones, they have high probability to stall or reverse, and they continue to either retest those zones or break through them. Okay, when they retest and fail, the probability based upon your trend of them reversing and going in the opposite direction is high. So you're looking at them reversing back to the known zones of opposite type or the previous zones. Okay, So as it develops and as it's trending down, you can see it creates brand new zones, which then are tested. This particular one you can see was tested and failed. See, price has gone outside of the top of that. You see that? See, that purple bar has extended to the top of that zone. Okay, so because of that, this zone, once this bar closes, will disappear. It becomes a dead zone because it's been broken. The probability was that price trades up into this and continues down, but in this case, it's broken it. Price came down to support, came back up and broke this. This zone will disappear, and we will now see this as the upside resistance to that. So we have some videos in our members area that help you to see and to use that. So if you were to go over to the Hawkeye Traders members site under the product videos, then you can see that there are some, let me see, where's that at? Zones videos right here. And under this section, you can see that there are quite a few training videos for TradeStation, NinjaTrader, MetaTrader 4. So you're looking at the flip-flop, you're looking at the money bounce, you're looking at all the different entries and confirmations of using the zones while trading those. So all of the information on using the zones should be contained in your membership area. So I encourage you to make use of those. So sorry I kept you up so late, Kath. I hope that answered your questions. Anything else while I've got you? You're very welcome. The MT4 Total Package, Trend Module, and Roadkill Module are included. Yes. In the MT4 Total Package, it also includes the Fat Man and the levels. So you get both of those packages as well. And like I said again, today only, we have 25% off. It is the pre-4th of July special just for you guys who are attending my webinar today. Nobody else knows about this, and they're not going to. I'm not going to send an email out or anything. So the only people that are going to know are you guys, and you guys are the only ones have access to that. Can I show the pound dollar on a 30-minute time frame on MT4? Be glad to. If I were to look at the longer time, I think I have one set up right here. Here we go. Right here, I've got a 30-minute pound on a hourly, so I'm looking for this 30-minute chart. You can see a lot of strength coming in right here. Coming up into this morning right here, the pound dollar is showing huge surges of strength, consolidation, and then a really strong breakout. So this would have been your breakout point right here, about 128.5. Okay, volume was clearly surging in this. Obviously, the news of was affected that price break, but you can see the huge amount of push up into that. Trading just a 30-minute chart, this wouldn't. If you were waiting for confirmation of the entry, then you can see you would not have entered probably until that price closed. It was a wide bar, so I would not have entered it. Okay. A large amount of strength coming into that pound, a large amount of weakness in the US dollar, so you can see why it's starting to diverge out. But looking at the hourly and the 30-minute, it's probably a little more clear to trade if you're trading it on a little bit faster time frame. So if we're to pull that pound dollar up, let me see if I can find it here real quick. Trading it on a 15-30 hourly. Okay, you can see the building strength of the pound versus the steady weakness of the US dollar on both time frames. Okay, they consolidated and then broke out at this point. The shortest time frame obviously was the best, but you can see that Hawkeye gave a nice entry signal right here that was not confirmed until right about here. So that was still in congestion, so that would have been a little bit riskier of a trade. Right here was the very first point, right there. You can see that. The very first point, we have a double dot buy entry signal showing weakness and support on all three time frames. So this would have been the first time that you could have taken a confirmed entry off of this 15-minute chart. So based upon this point, you would have applied your tools, set your risk, and then taken profit as the price rallied. And that's exactly how you capture that trade. You trade in the direction of the longer term trend, looking at where volume and price are starting to lead the way into that trade. Yes, Latanya, the same 25% discount for all of the tools apply today. So if you are to buy the zones today and today only, then you're going to get a 25% discount off of that. But it's only for today. Midnight tonight, Eastern Standard Time US, the sale will go away and you won't have access to that. Next week, it will be on sale on Tuesday only for our 4th of July sales. It'll be 20% off, but today you're getting an extra 5%. So take advantage of that today while you can. Where do you go for the discount? Just go to the store. Any purchase in the store, you don't even have to put anything in. I've got automatically locked in for today. If you go to the store, if you're looking at just buying the zones themselves, then you just simply go to the button that says zones right here, click on that, and purchase the platforms that you're specifically looking at, and it will automatically come up as a discount, and the amount due will be the discounted amount. Okay, and you can purchase it with either your credit card or PayPal. All right, let me turn that off. Looking at a 5-minute chart, be glad to. Let me reload that. There we go. 5-minute chart, then I'd be looking at 15-minute second time frame, and third time frame I'd be looking at a 30-minute. Okay. Looking at a 5-minute setup, I need to make sure that this is set to a 15. See, I currently have it times 2, so I'm looking at a 5, 10, and 20-minute setup if I were using these sets. I can do that, that's fine, but it's just not going to be in alignment with the chart that I'm actually trading. So you can see that based upon the 5-minute chart, you can see the trend came in line a lot earlier. So the 28th at 0330, so this was the opening of the London session. The pound showed some strength and actually gave us a nice aligned signal of entry. But that alignment would have held you hostage all morning long. What I mean by held you hostage is, yeah, you would have been able to see a nice entry signal based upon that. So you can see right there. Right there is the signal. So if we were to apply your levels to that point, then you can see that would have held you in, and you would have been in. You would not have been stopped out, but you would have been in that trade all morning long, and you would not have gotten to your very first profit target until this signal shot up anyway. So the shorter time frames get you in earlier, but a lot of times they do force you to hold the position for much longer periods of time. You could have been stopped out. Looks like it came very close, but it didn't. And so you could have been stopped out, but wasn't. And then the price eventually came and rallied in your favor. So either time frame would have worked just fine. If I change these now to be 5:15, instead of that being an I2, I'm going to change that to a 15. So an M15, or I could say I times 3. That would have been 15, but I'll just give it an M15 for now. Then you can see that changed the alignment. And then this one I'm going to change to a 30. And now you can see the alignment changes. So at this point, at the initial trade, it does not allow you to enter. The first time it allows you to enter would have been right here. It's a little bit, it's almost the same, but it's just a little bit higher. So let me pull that over to there. Right there. That would have been the entry point. If you waited on the 15 and 30-minute chart, you would have entered a little bit later, but you can still see that you're still in the same amount of risk. You're still in the same amount of profit targets. You're still going to be hitting your first profit target at the big push up, which is either 2, 3, or 5 level. So hope that helped. I'll change those back. I'll just leave it like that for now. And leave that at a 5:15:30, and I can always change it later. Mark, did I answer your question about the discount? Where do you go? You just go to the store and it automatically appears. Joe wants to know, can I walk through any particular stock? Do you buy it for a swing trade or a day trade? A couple of examples. Oh, absolutely. That's my bread and butter, stock trades. I'm usually looking at daily, weekly, and monthlies. Being a lot of information about Delta Airlines recently, so I'm looking at it, and I've been looking at that trade. All right, Delta Airlines has been quite a runner so far. So you can see that the initial entry points for reconfirmed entry on that. The initial trade came, okay, initial indication came right here. Okay, but notice that the longer time frame did not allow you to take that trade. When it finally did align right here, okay, this right here was your very first point that you could have entered the trade. Right here is a reconfirmation that the trade realigned and came in line. So right here is your second time to enter. And then right here is a third time right there. So all three of these points gave you entry criteria that you could have taken and made about was that 6 to 7% profit on that trade by taking these any of these three profit entry points, just following the rules. Now I do have scanners that are set up, so if you were to go over to your trading apps, the Hawkeye tools are uniquely set up to use the TradeStation scanner. And so I have ones that are set up to actually do that. So if I'm looking at the Hawkeye trend, right here I've got one set up to look at the trend based upon the three-step entry exit method. Okay, so I'm looking at that. I'm looking for prices between $5 and $100. I'm looking for 3-month average volume, which is over 1 million shares. I would need to see liquidity. All right, and then I'm looking for the trend. The Hawkeye trend count is equal to 1, means it's the first trend dot. It's the first dot in a trend. So I'm looking at the first trend. I need to see that the trend current bar is green. A 1 means a green, 0 is white, -1 is red. Okay, so looking at this setup, then I'm looking at the initial trend that occurs when my fast time frame trend, volume, and heat map are green. They're all green. I'm looking at my second time frame volume and heat map. They have to be at least green, and I got to see my heat map has to be greater than a -0.5, which means it's got to be weak. It can be anything but bright red, but I need to see weakness. And then I need to see my third time frame volume has to be green. All that is set up, and it scans through. So I'll go ahead and run that scan right now, just to show you, based on today, the 15, 30, 60-minute time frame trends. We're going to go through and scan markets that I'm specifically interested in. Might be the NASDAQ market, might be all stocks. But it looks like it's got 8,000 shares. It's pared it down to 3,000. I'm looking at analyzing 3,000 shares right now, which is quite a bit. It might take a while to run. So it'll spit out a list of shares which have identified good Hawkeye entries. And then based on that, I'm going to compare it to the 6 ways the market moves. And then that's how I decide whether I want to enter a trade or not. While that's running, okay, in the meantime, I can go over here and I can look at some of the ones that you listed. For example, PL, you said? I don't see that. Oh, PI, I'm sorry. Okay, PI. Okay, Hawkeye gave the initial entry for that right here. Okay, the shorter term risk entry is here. You could have looked into a daily chart, but the confirmed entry point for the trade was right here. So 35.50, and looks like you're still going to be holding into that, and we're still confirmed long trend. Price is closed under the trend up, but the trend dots are still rising, so this is a simple pause. And once we see that pause broken, we would continue on that. But it looks like it's starting to show some weakness in that trend, but it's still a confirmed trend run up. PI, what's the other one you got there? TRVG. Now, if you put these, it doesn't matter which ones. If the markets that those are in, if they're all from the NASDAQ market, which these are, then the initial criteria for entry, which is shown right here, will be shown on the scanner when this occurs. So when this sets up, you'll get an indication right here on the list that this has come in alignment. And then once that has, then you will see a chart that looks just like this. I can't get it over far enough because this is a fairly new stock. But you would just see a chart that has a single green dot on it, and you'll see these signals showing that that is a good entry point. And then you decide whether to take that trade or not. You're not going to see any of this because it's future data. You don't know that it's going to continue to go up or not. That's the whole fun of trading. And of course, there are a lot of other ones there. So you have quite a few that are listed there. This one looks like you're double topping. There's not enough history for it to give you monthly, so you could look into the intraday charts to look at hourly or even a half day and a full day chart to look at getting into that a little bit earlier. Looks like there's a lot of weakness to this upside. Anytime prices come up high, there's not a lot of buying volume. So you see neutral, and now you're seeing selling volume. So this one just looks like we're looking at a real clear double top pattern forming, and there's not clear indication that this is going to continue to go up. On the contrary, this looks very weak and looks like it can continue to go down from this point. You're very welcome. Carlos, I didn't see that. Try to install in TradeStation. You get an error saying TradeStation is not installed or found. You do have to go to TradeStation.com and install the TradeStation platform, and make sure the TradeStation platform is installed before you install Hawkeye. Hawkeye must be installed into an existing TradeStation platform for it to work. It'll be the same with MetaTrader 4 or NinjaTrader or any of the other supported platforms. Ron asked where you stopped out. Can you give me more specifics, Ron? I'm not sure what you were referring to, but I'll be glad to answer that. The PI, okay, let me pull that back in again. PI. Looks like the trend is held intact. This price pushed down below the crash barrier, so this would have stopped you out. This would have stopped you out right here if you had a automatic trailing stop following your Hawkeye stop. The trend is still intact because the close right here never closed below the crosses. So it is a close below the Hawkeye stop or a touch of the crash barrier if the volume is opposing. And in this case, volume was neutral, so it didn't oppose the trend, so the trend is still intact. So if you had a stop in the market, it would have stopped you out. But if you were waiting for a close below the crosses, then no, it would not have stopped you out because the close never occurred below it. Okay, Carlos, TradeStation is installed. Are you sure it's TradeStation, the platform like I'm showing right now? Because some people confuse the TradeStation on forex.com as the same as this one, and it's not. So if it's the same platform you got here, then it'll run perfectly fine. You could have a corrupted installer, so make sure you go back to Hawkeye Traders website, into the members area. Let me see, where is that at? Do I have a members area set up here? I don't. I think I closed it. So let me go over there then. Oh no, this is it right here. Go to your members area under products. Go to the product that you purchased. Say it was the MT4 total package. Oh, you did TradeStation anyway, so let's go do the TradeStation professional package. Then under the professional package, the TradeStation, just simply click on this link right here, the Hawkeye Professional Package for TradeStation. Re-download that, or whatever that you purchased. Click the TradeStation download link for that package, and then try to run the reinstallation again. And you shouldn't have any problems at all if you already have your TradeStation. If you do need any other further help, then please contact us at support@hawkeyetraders.com. Let me type that in for you so that you can contact us there. So you're very welcome. All right. Are there any other questions here? Let me see if that scan is completed yet. No, it's still taking a long time. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that right now, and I will show you the previous results. The previous results of this, yeah, it looks like I'm looking at all stocks. I probably should limit that to just stocks in the NASDAQ or the New York or whatever, but I was looking at all stocks. But you can see different ones that were pulled up here. Let me pull that to green, and I'll click on that. And at one point, like right here, when I ran this scan, which was, when was that ran? March the 15th. Where was that? Right there. Right. There it is. There it is. So this would have displayed this initial signal right here. Okay. Just before a big runoff. So that definitely would have been stopped out if you had taken that trade. However, the volume was not aligned. See this right here? The volume was still neutral, so that would not have gotten you into that trade. You wouldn't have been able to take that trade. And also you would have seen that it was in congestion. So you don't take trades in congestion where you see the overall direction of the trades going down. The 15th. All right, that's this one right here. The heat map is not in line. Okay, so that's not a good one. Looks like the initial trade might have taken in probably right along in here. Right, so you can see, oh, no wonder, I'm looking at daily. This is a 15, 30, 60, so I'm not even looking at the right ones. I'd have to look in more faster time frame to see those. But you get the picture. It will give you a list of stocks that align at a specific point that meet all of your criteria. And then those are the ones that you're going to be looking at. Daily, weekly. Here's a trend for a daily. Let me click on that one. So that's a better one to look at because it's a daily setup. And that was done on May the 26th. May 20, right there, boom. So it showed me this setup right here, where the initial alignment, the initial trend, and alignment of all the elements occurred. So this was a continuation trade into the trend. CALD, right there, initial trade. HQY, right there. It was showing you that initial trade setup. So all these setups would have looked just like this when you received the signal. It looked just like that. Gibson, none of your questions are coming through. I got all of your questions actually. I don't think so. Let me look back and see. I've been answering your questions most of the day actually. Yep, I showed you the setups. I showed you that. I showed you the NASDAQ. I showed you the valid entries. A valid setup. You asked if it was for NinjaTrader 7, and I confirmed it was both for 7 and 8. I don't know what I missed. Tell me what question I missed, please. I must have overlooked it. If you could repeat your question, I would greatly appreciate it. You're welcome, RJ. You're very welcome. It's my pleasure to be here and to help you guys. I want to make sure that you understand the application and how to use the tools and how to use them properly so that you can also be a consistently profitable trader and have an edge in these markets, how to search for and find setups, how to execute them with precision and follow through with a proven trading plan. Because if you're just trading off the seat of your pants, then you're just going to either be hit or miss. You'll win sometimes, you'll lose most of the time. And then you'll probably have an early grave. So let me go ahead and turn the recording off at this point.